What sticks out to you the most from Sunday's play, and some of the wins, some of the losses, anything that you think leaps out at you that is of note, Louis Riddick? What is it?
Yeah, I think, literally sitting on my couch for an entire day yesterday. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I literally did not move except to get something to drink.
Bless you. Love it.
Yeah, tell me about it. My family looks at me like, man, what are you going to do anything today? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to do nothing, like zero. I think the continuing maturation, Rich, of CJ Stroud right before our eyes is something that I don't know if we can really overstate
Okay.
just what he is showing relative to what we usually use as excuses for young players when they underperform. Okay, by this, I mean this. Here, he is a first time head coach, first time play caller in Bobby Slowick in terms of, offensive coordinator is actually calling plays.
Mm-hmm.
He's with an organization that's really trying to get it right, trying to get things turned around. So people thought, and I thought as well, look, there's going to be some growing pains when you're talking about maybe offensive line play, the explosiveness of the perimeter weaponry. We'll see how the running game goes relative to the offensive line. The defense is, look, D'Amico's going to have the defense going, but, they still have to prove themselves. The division is getting better, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe there's going to be, a little bit of, some lumpiness for CJ. Yeah, no lumpiness whatsoever. Now he hit some bumps in the road yesterday, but I think yesterday he showed why. Like during the draft, I don't know how the discussion went for you guys on your set that night, but I'll tell you, look, it was really pretty much a consensus. Everyone who I talked to at ESPN, and I love all the dudes there, but people were like, look, we got to take Bryce, man. We got to take Bryce. The off-schedule playmaking ability, the Heisman Trophy lineage, how mature he is, et cetera, et cetera. CJ, I was like, I am taking CJ Stroud. And I'm not taking it just because of the Michigan game. I mean, because of the Georgia game in the semifinals, but because if you look at his career, especially over the previous 2 years, this guy is a beautiful passer, and he is as composed as you can possibly be. And I know he's had one of the best wide receiver groups in all of college football, but I'm telling you, what Ryan Day tells me and what Brian Hartline tells me and what I can see from my very own eyes and talking to him at his pro day, this dude is franchise. It's written all over it.
Mm.
Of course, you hear the Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out, blah, 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 all the nonsense that really doesn't mean crap. When you start talking about Ohio State quarterbacks, like, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
As if they're cursed or something. That's just to see him elevate other players in a way that you expect 2, 3, 4, 5-year players to be elevating people when they are the elite of the elite. To see him doing it as a rookie with a rookie head coach, a rookie signal caller, a rookie wide receiver, and a guy like Tank Dell. I mean, the way Dameon Pierce is running the football, he had a beat up offensive line for much of the season. It's like, damn, this kid is really, really special.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it at the Combine, Louis, sitting there with Daniel Jeremiah. And again, Young didn't throw at the Combine. Stroud did, so did Richardson. But every single time that Stroud spun it was picture perfect. It honestly, and you know how it works at the Combine. It's a total random as to who's catching it in terms of who's in line next, and there's different talent levels of who's in line next. Didn't matter at all, and he was absolutely the best that we saw there that day. And and by the way, I know you mentioned Michigan first, not Georgia, but the two losses to Michigan, not because of Stroud. I mean, he threw for 700 yards combined in those two games against Michigan. And what he did against Georgia was spectacular. So the question I have for you is how far can the Texans go here? I mean, they are a surprise team, but soon they're going to start playing cold weather games, and teams are not going to be as surprised to see them. How do you see them moving forward from here, Louis?
Yeah, I think, look, they've already shown the cream of the crop in the division, so to speak, right now, Jacksonville, that they can deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to deal with them again here, I believe,
this week?
2 weeks? Or this week, that's right. So I'm sitting there
No,
going,
2 weeks. Correct. 2
right,
weeks.
so
You're
I
right.
thought it was, you had me second guessing.
No,
myself.
it's taking on Denver. They taking on no, it's this week. Pardon me. It's Texans again, home against Jacksonville. Yep, and then they're home against Denver. Yep, yeah. That's
so
it.
it's I think that has become a game that has so much significance.
Oh, yeah.
And has so much intrigue now that you would have never thought maybe that would be the case earlier in the year or at the beginning of the year. Say for Jacksonville, which you knew that this year they needed to take a step, and they're taking it. That's another team that is taking leaps now. Because Trevor is taking leaps. The defense is taking leaps. Doug Peterson and that staff, Press Taylor calling plays. Everything is starting to work in Jacksonville, too. So this game all of a sudden becomes one of those that really infuses a lot of excitement into the conversation surrounding that division. But for Houston, how far can they ultimately go? Look, I don't know if they're ready to, in big moments in sudden death tournaments, so to speak, as I like to call it in the playoffs, are they ready to really deal with the Buffaloes, the Kansas Cities,
Ravens?
The Ravens when they're healthy, if they're going to be relatively healthy by the time we get to the playoffs? Are they the Miamis, when it comes down to that kind of, format? I don't know, but I'm not betting against them anymore. I'm not. Just because, D'Amico. D'Amico is special. Will Anderson's a special guy.
Mm-hmm.
A special guy even before you even get to the player part of it. And Will Anderson is exceeding my expectations for him, especially when you're talking about his ability to affect the game on third down, which he did at Alabama. I didn't think he'd be able to do it at a super elite level, but I think I may be wrong just because of the guy that he is and the worker that he is. But what CJ has struck, with Tank Dell and with Nico Collins, I'm just like, he really is putting it on his back. And his comments after the game this past week, when he says, "Look, it's like the best shooters." Like when he referenced, Steph Curry, I believe, and he said, "Look, I'm going to keep slinging it. I'm going to keep shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not deterred in any way, shape, or form by what happened to me." Like that wasn't just hyperbole in this day and age of "look at me" that we all exist in. That's for real.
No doubt. No doubt. Louis Riddick. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's different, Rich. That's just different.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.